Now, welcome back to S.M.S. This is Soccer Made Simple. My name is Ephraim Juma. I'm here with Seth. So today we want to talk about the Arsenal game versus Manchester City during the weekend. It was the Carabao Cup finals at Wembley. There were two key players for Manchester City that destroyed Arsenal completely. Forget about Nico Reilly, who scored the goals. So there's one player called Semenyo, the other is Ryan Shaki, who are passing through Arsenal defenders like they were not there. And we are talking about very high class defenders and midfielders. So, Seth, do you think any serious team in the Premier League that has the capabilities of going to the finals and of course playing against Manchester City should allow any player, a player of any caliber, to destroy their defense the way Ryan Shaki and Semenyo were doing to Arsenal?
I think Rantaki was so good. He was so good against Arsenal. He caused Arsenal a lot of trouble, but he did one thing that many people don't like, including Pep Guardiola and including the City fans. Like, you don't have to disrespect your opponent to that extent, even though they were dominating the game. But even if you wanted to prove a point, yeah, you don't have to do it in that manner. So for me, that was just unacceptable. But Rantaki was good against us. He was good against Arsenal. And then another thing, I think that Arsenal were also very, very poor defensively. Because how do you just decide to lay low and take the blows from Manchester City? Like, if you have reached the final of a cup, yeah, at least you have to go there with the mentality of fighting
of attacking.
Yeah, so
with
yeah.
City.
You
at
know,
least you have to have that.
and
Yeah.
even me, I am asking myself, what will we do against a big team like Bayern? Maybe if we manage to
let us
beat.
forget
It might
about
be different.
let us
It might be
forget about
different
Champions
because
League.
yeah,
Let us forget
different
about
games,
Champions
different
League.
outcomes. But in the Champions League,
Because you know
I even see how Arsenal being humiliated by Sporting Lisbon in Portugal in the first leg, because those guys are very good at attacking football. And when you look at Arsenal, the recent last games in the Premier League, these guys have been very poor offensively. Yeah. So if you because if you can manage to extract 3 points, no, not 3 points, 9 points from 3 games, and then all of the goals have come from set pieces, yeah, it just shows how poor the attacking is. So going in, considering the fact that they still have 7 games left, yeah, and the European competition also they are waiting for them. So we don't know how far they're going to reach in the European competitions. They still have the FA Cup.
I also have doubts about Arsenal.
Yeah.
I thought that Arsenal were going to take the Premier League trophy, but of course, if players with experience like Thierry Henry are doubting if Arsenal are going to take the trophy, I also have to doubt. Because these are players with a lot of experience.
Yeah, experience. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what we think about Arsenal. Arsenal
the fans. The problem is Arsenal fans are always delusional. You know, there's that huge amount of belief in the fans, and they're always optimistic of them doing the impossible. But if you look at their squad's capability, it's not even convincing enough to win a Carabao Cup, leave alone the Premier League. They might be leading the table now.
If Arsenal goes trophyless this season, do you think Arteta is going to be sacked?
Arteta should
I
leave
don't think so, because
the club. If
the other problem is Arteta brought Arsenal from a very shameful situation where Unai Emery left. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. They need trophies.
Okay, somehow to the board and the fans it does matter, because if you kick Mikel Arteta out right now, yeah,
who are you bringing in?
Who are you bringing in?
That's
the question.
Yeah. So
that's
still,
the question.
The other guy who will come will have to adopt with the league, yeah,
and rebuild
and then do an entire rebuild of the squad. So if you look at what Arteta has managed to do, because in the beginning of the season they were very, in fact they looked at the best team in Europe at that time in the Champions League, demolishing Bayern 3-0. You know, like, they were having some very, very brilliant performances. They even defeated Atletico Madrid 5-0 at Emirates. So it was at the beginning of the season they were somehow convincing that they are at that elite level of a team that can manage to be competitive enough in the European competition and still put a competitive performance in the Premier League. But coming towards the end of the season, I think it's somehow a mentality that kicks in.
It's a team mentality.
Yeah, it's a team mentality, because it has been happening, and it has been recurring for the last 3 seasons, and then it's happening again. So when it comes to the end of the season, towards the end of the season, I think
the winning momentum,
there's that lack of confidence, and then the other teams, when they see you shaken and that you're vulnerable, my guy, those guys are gonna come to attack you, and I think all of the teams just have that momentum of like wanting you to lose. Yeah.
Okay, that's the tactical analysis for today about Arsenal and Manchester City during the weekend. Subscribe to the channel. It's called S.M.S. See you next time.